Hi, this is the story we are going to be reading. It is called A Trip to Rio. This is a audiobook. Please listen to this first before you read the story on your own.
Trip to Rio, written by Catherine Follett, illustrated by Penny Weber. Focus question. How does Julia's attitude change during the story? Julia and her family waited to get into the stadium. The huge crowd made her nervous. She did not remember Rio de Janeiro being so busy last time her family visited from New York. It's because of the Olympics, her cousin Gabriella said. They finally got to their seats. Julia heard different languages all around her, from Chinese to Russian. Her family spoke Portuguese so fast that Julia could not understand. She felt alone. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Rio de Janeiro is the second largest city in the country of Brazil. It is known for its food, music, beaches, and lively celebrations. The opening night festivities began. Everyone screamed and cheered. Julia wanted to be excited too, but their seats were so far away that she could barely see. The loud music made her head hurt. Julia had been looking forward to this trip to Rio. It was a rare chance to see her cousins and other family members. Now she just wanted to go home. The next morning was quiet. Suddenly, Gabriella burst into Julia's room. Her little brother Chaz followed. "There's another Olympic event today," she said. Julia did not really want to go. Her head began to hurt again, but she smiled and got ready. The families walked through shady streets in Gabriella's neighborhood. The block ended at a park. Gabriella grabbed Julia's hand and ran through the trees. They came out on a beach. Julia stopped and stared. Rio was beautiful. Tall buildings stood along the water. A big mountain rose behind them. "That's Sugarloaf Mountain," Gabriella said. White sails floated on the blue bay. It was an Olympic boat race. Julia's headache went away. The next day, Julia ran to Gabriella's room. "We're going up Sugarloaf Mountain," she said. They rode a cable car hanging high above the city. Gabriella was scared to be up so high, but Julia stared out the window. The white city stood between blue water, green jungle, and tall gray mountains. Rio's mountains. Rio is surrounded by dome-shaped mountains. Sugarloaf is the steepest. Corcovado Mountain is the tallest. A 125-foot, 38.1-meter statue called Christ the Redeemer stands at its top. They went to a big market. The mangoes were wonderful. "This is what they're supposed to taste like," Papa said in Portuguese. At home, they spoke English, but in Rio, Julia liked to speak Portuguese. They went to the Olympic swimming pool to see a race. Chaz kept shouting, "Go Brazil!" "Brazil is not even in this event," Gabriella finally said. "Oh," Chaz said. He grinned at Julia. "Go America!" Julia laughed. It was Julia's last day in Rio. Gabriella said, "We're going to Grandma and Grandpa's. Then we will go to an Olympic football game." Julia remembered her first night in Rio. She didn't want to go back to the stadium. Grandpa opened the door to greet them. Suddenly, everything seemed familiar. Julia remembered visiting their house when she was 5. Grandpa taught her to samba. She had laughed and laughed. They ate Grandma's feijoada, or bean stew. Julia sat next to Grandpa. Feijoada. Feijoada is a traditional bean stew with pork and spicy sausages. Considered the national dish of Brazil, it cooks for many hours and is usually saved for special family celebrations. I don't want to go to the football game, Julia whispered, and Grandpa leaned close. Opening night was too loud. The crowd was too big. I'm scared to go. Don't worry, my Julia, Grandpa said. At football games, all Brazilians are family. At the stadium, Julia held Gabriella's and Grandpa's hands. The crowd seemed even louder. When Brazil took a shot, everyone gasped. When the referee blew the whistle, everyone yelled. When Brazil ran toward the goal, everyone cheered. Julia got caught up in the game. The crowd made it exciting. She cheered too. Then Brazil scored a goal. The whole stadium roared. Julia would never forget the sound. Grandpa lifted Julia in the air. Together, they sang with the crowd. Brazilian football. Football, or soccer, is the national sport of Brazil. Brazilian players are among the best in the world. Brazil is also known for its passionate fans. They have many songs and chants to support their teams. Connections.